All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started on our week 4 live lecture. So this week we, thank goodness, don't have as much to cover as we did last week because I know that was a lot of information, but we do have some wonderful things to cover still. And so if you have questions after you've viewed the meeting in its entirety, you can always send me an email on the course and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. And of course, if you have any questions while the meeting is taking place and you're here live viewing the session, then you can type them in the chat box below and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. Okay, so objectives for this lesson, or excuse me, this lecture. First off, again, I'd like to always start our live lectures by welcoming you to the meeting, whether you're watching the recorded version or the live version, it doesn't matter. I still want to just tell you thank you for watching the meeting. Make sure to view it in its entirety because a lot of the questions that I get are things that, or better yet, assignments that were done incorrectly could have been prevented because you didn't watch the meeting in its entirety and instead you just sent the code word. So that's a no-no, guys. You need to watch the entire meeting to ensure that you are understanding the concepts, what's expected of you, just basically so that you understand the concepts and so that you are putting forth your best work possible. But regardless, I'd like to say welcome to the meeting and feel free to ask questions if you have them. Also, as always, we'll be going over our assignments for this week and the details for those assignments, including the expectations I have of you, which is why it's so important to always view the meeting in its entirety because I go over everything you need and I give you examples of all these great things too so that you can be successful with your assignments. Also, we'll cover a few extra things in regards to our concepts that we are discussing this week. And of course, we'll have time for questions at the end if you have them. So, what are those assignments this week? Good question. Your readings for this week will cover chapters 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 15. That's a lot of reading, guys. So, I hope you've already started that because I know it's a lot to tackle. Our weekly discussion this week will cover convergence. So, it's a really interesting discussion. I'll go over that a little bit more in just a moment. But don't forget that your initial post is due on Tuesdays by 11:59 p.m. Central Time. And your reply post will be due on Saturday at 11:59 p.m. Central Time. Okay. Also, your written assignment this week is on product placement. I'm going to give you some great examples of product placement in just a moment, but have fun with this assignment and we'll talk about that a little bit more in depth in just a moment. But don't forget that your written assignment is due on Sunday by 11:59 p.m. Central Time as well. And of course, lastly, you have your MAP, that's your Media Analysis Project Outline, and that will be due by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Central Time as well. Okay, so our discussion this week. Convergence is something that's all around us. It's something that it's a term that we use to describe technical devices that evolve and adopt the functionality of other devices. So, for instance, we have let's see here. We have laptops nowadays that only better yet, let's use this example. We have smartphones. Smartphones do a lot of things for us. They act as a telephone. They act also as a small computer. So there's a lot of different things that we can do. We can even watch TV on our phones and so forth. So that would be a great example of an item or a technical device that's evolved and adopted the functionality of other devices. So, for instance, television has also adopted recording functions. Once we had to, at a certain time period that some of you might not even remember, we used VCRs to actually record things on our TV. So if we wanted to record a certain show because we weren't going to be home, we had to use our VCR to do that. But with the advent of digital video recorders such as TiVo and things like that, we're now able to have a device that's kind of all in one. So that's how convergence is now a part of our modern day society. Computers are now adopting the functionality of television also, because we have streaming video broadcasts, so we can actually watch television from our computer. Our cellular phones, like I said, our smartphones, are now equipped with the internet and they have video capabilities where these once were separate devices. So all of these things would be great examples of convergent devices in modern day society. So as technology continues to converge, I want you to think about how will our emotional connection and perceptions to media change. Will this be a good thing? How will convergence change the business approaches to media? And I want you to fully explain your answer there. So really think about that. Make sure that you make your initial post by Tuesday at 11:59 p.m. Central Time, and of course, your reply post will be due on Saturday by 11:59 p.m. Central Time as well. But I'd like to give you a different example on convergence, and this is just kind of something to think about, I guess. As we all know, technology and televised scheduled programming really has drastically advanced in the past few years. Where once we had sitcoms, all over primetime television, we now have a flood of new things, such as or new um, types of programming. So new dramas. We've had really a lot more, or we're seeing a lot more of reality television programming as well. So in addition to the changes to programming, we've also seen an advancement in the technological aspects of television. For instance, we once thought we had to have cable. Now, for years, I didn't own a cable box, but I actually preferred using Netflix because of its affordability and also its readily available programming, which worked for mine and my husband's very busy schedules. So I just love the fact that we can start, stop, pause, anything we want to do. Oh, the joys of Netflix and the DVR, right? So, but with such conveniences also comes risks. As with anything, and I think it's important to say this, as with anything, especially in terms of technological advancements, there's always going to be benefits and costs. So, with that being said, I'd like to look at something that we might actually refer to as a cost here. It just depends on how you look at it. But these are a little older now, but I do like to talk about 3D television. So some people own 3D television. Some people have seen, just been able to go to individuals' houses that have them and view television in that manner. But did you know that there are actually a list of side effects and possible issues that come along with advancements with the 3D television? And that's what I have right here on the screen. And I know that's a lot to read, so I'm not going to ask you to read that. But a few things I'd like to point out here is it says symptoms that may occur from watching these 3D televisions could be altered vision, lightheadedness, dizziness, involuntary movements such as eye and muscle twitching, confusion, nausea, loss of awareness, convulsions, cramps, disorientation. They've also been known to cause sleep deprivation. They have been known to cause epileptic seizures and things like that. So, I actually have this posted in our discussion if you'd like to check it out. But it's really interesting to look at what could be referred to as a cost of convergence in today's society. So check out the warning label if you want to in our discussion area this week. Let me know your thoughts on this. But, this is just kind of something to mull over in your mind, just to kind of think about the benefits versus the costs of certain technological advancements. And were you even aware of this? Just something to think about. All right, so for our written assignment this week, we're talking about product placement. Movies and television are a vital part of our pop culture, especially, but our culture. As a pastime, we like to view movies, we like to check out television shows. It's just kind of a way for us to relax and have a little fun. But the placement of specific brands and products in movies and also television series has become a very lucrative way for businesses to make money by selling this link between the film or the television show that you enjoy viewing and the product that's being placed in certain scenes of this film or this television series. So, with that in mind, for this assignment, for your product placement assignment this week, I'd like you to reflect on your favorite movie or your favorite television show from, it says from the past year, but as long as it's something modern, that it'll work. I'll say that. If you're choosing a television series from the 1950s, maybe not so much. So do try to choose something that's a more modern film or television show. So I'd like you to watch this film or this television, episode if you want to again. Pay attention to the product placement that's part of the film or the television show that you're watching. In a short paper of actually 1 to 2 pages, double spaced, I want you to describe the products that were used as product placements throughout the film or the television show and how this film or this television show used them. Was the product placement obvious? How did it tie into the story? Or did it tie into the story? Sometimes it doesn't. What was the benefit to the business selling the product to use this product placement in this film or this television series? Um, what were the benefits for the business? Why did they put it there? What do you think they gained from it, and so forth? So don't forget that this assignment will be due on Sunday by 11:59 p.m. Central Time. But I'd like to kind of give you a little bit more information on this. Let's see here. Okay, here's an example of Big Bang Theory, a very popular television show. I enjoy watching it. I'm a self-professed academic, so this is definitely a show for me. So I'd like to show you though what's going on here. This is just a typical scene. We've got two characters that are conversing on a couch, and there really isn't a lot to say about the scene other than what I would like to show you here. Now, I've got a red box and I've got it zoomed in up here so you can actually see it a little bit better. But we can see that in this episode, it looks like if you've known this drink at least, it's Red Bull can. And also we've got a box of something here that we're not too familiar with. This would be a great example of how product placement's taking place in the scene. They've identified or they've placed well-known products, especially Red Bull, but they placed products in the scene to draw the consumer into the product. Kind of a let's see here. I can't I'm sorry, I'm at a loss for the word right now, but it subconsciously is making you think about this product because it's placed in the scene of potentially a favorite program of yours. So you've got positive thoughts about this product now because you've seen it in your favorite show. So with that being said, this is product placement at its best, guys. It's just kind of hidden there. It's not too obvious, but it does subconsciously link a positive thought to the product because you've seen it on one of your favorite shows. So yes, as I stated, that is a Red Bull can, but you're probably wondering what is the other product? Well, that's something I kind of wanted to really expand your thoughts on this week, just to kind of get you thinking about different things, not just the typical product placement. New reports on consumer marketing are showing more and more Chinese brands are appearing in American television shows. Um, and in fact, this carton right here is actually of course, they place it next to a well-known American product, Red Bull. But this carton right here is actually what it is it's a low lactose dairy brand, and it's a Chinese brand, and it's from the Yili Group. And they've placed this product that we're not too familiar with yet, but they've placed this product on a very um, highly viewed CBS television series, obviously The Big Bang Theory. So why do you think they're doing that? Why do you think these Chinese brands are starting to place their products in these highly viewed American television sitcoms and so forth? Well, that's exactly what you think. They're trying to create more awareness about their brand and get into the American markets to sell their product. So, just kind of a little something extra to think about there. So, not only do we have the typical product placement as we have with Red Bull Kim, but we also have this new age of product placement that's taking place as well. So just something to think about as you start writing those great papers this week. Just kind of get your brain going on things. So, all right. So let's move on to the MAP thesis and outline. So last week you selected your topic and if you were approved, you began conducting research for your media analysis project. And you will need to check out my grading feedback to see if your topic was approved or not. So if it was approved, now it's time to use that research you've been working on to formalize and organize your thesis and create an outline for your final paper. So if you put in a lot of great effort into creating your outline, your paper is actually going to really just flow from your outline. So don't shortcut the process. Really take the time to complete the outline, and then it'll make the paper so much easier for you in the end. So even though this paper is this MAP project is an analysis using specific perspectives and approaches, it still needs to have a thesis statement. So I'm going to give you an example of a thesis statement in just a moment. It's on the next slide. But the thesis statement is something that we should have to frame the way that we choose on approaching the 6 perspectives. Try not to overthink the thesis statement. I think that's a problem with a lot of students is they overthink it. But I'm going to give you a great example in just a second. Now, your outline should show the key points that you want to bring up in your paper. You'll start to integrate that research into the outline. So the outline, I do expect to see all 5 properly formatted references because I'd like to see how you're integrating that into your paper. And I'm going to show you an example of an outline in just a second, but you will find that in your lessons area as well. So after you complete your thesis and outline, I want you to immediately begin on the paper itself because it can be quite a chunk to cover, and because this is a shorter class, you do want to make sure that you're jumping on that now. So you can always adjust the paper based on, your thoughts or the feedback you get on your outline or so forth. So, but I do suggest you go ahead and start working on that as well. All right, so here's an example of a thesis statement. And this is something that I actually adapted from our readings. So we've got a thesis statement right here. It says, reaction to a barely functional cartoon family is as varied as the life experiences and attitudes of the viewers who watch it. If you're a fan of animated films, the cartoon may be appealing because it reminds you of your childhood. If you grew up in a similar home, you may laugh about like situations involving your family. If you enjoy watching the symbols of popular culture being nudged off their pedestals, you'll appreciate the humor of the program. But if you think cartoon characters should be reserved for children and their concerns, you probably will be offended at the many adult themes and jokes expressed during the half hour. So this is kind of an example of a thesis statement. To me, this one is actually a lot more wordy and in depth than I would expect you to do. So it can be simple, guys. It should just be a really simple statement that when you read it, you understand what your paper is going to discuss. So let's put it that way. So try not to overthink it. All right. And then we have an example of an outline. So I'd like to show you how this is going to go. Remember that main points that you want to make will be Roman numerals. Under the main points is going to always be some kind of support or further detail, and that is signified by capital letters. And if you'd like to go into further details, that's going to be numbers, ones and twos, okay? So just something to think about there. All right, but you can see that in the body of your outline is where, the real meat and potatoes of your paper are going to be. It's going to be each perspective is going to be covered there. So just kind of make note of that, and you need to really describe how you're going to cover those things. Make sure to start integrating that research. Like I said, I do expect to see all 5 properly formatted references submitted with your outline, and you'll have your conclusion as well. All right, so the rubric here is for your written assignment this week, which is product placement. So the paper describes the way products were placed within the movie or the television show, 30 points. A convincing case is made as to the benefits of product placement for both businesses and the film or show itself, 60 points. Proper spelling, grammar, and language used is going to be 10 points for a total of 100% on your paper. All right. Here's the rubric for the MAP outline. A strong thesis is clearly stated, 25 points. Outline supports the thesis in terms of approach to the analysis of the topic and shows how they will approach the 6 perspectives, 25 points. Outline is logically organized, 25 points. Outline shows how research supports the analysis, 25 points, for a total of 100%. All right, so that's it, guys. Your code word this week is skydiving. That is me in my much younger days right here. Skydiving from 14,000 feet. It was quite the adventure. I can't say it's something I would do again, but I'm glad that I did it once. So from 14,000 feet, you can literally, when you're jumping from a plane at least, you can actually see the curve of the sky, or the curve of the earth is what it actually looks like up there. It's very cold. Um, it's very high, and it was quite the adventure. That's all I can say on that one. So your code word this week is skydiving. If you have any questions at all, you can feel free to reach out to me in the course. Otherwise, enjoy your week, and thank you for watching.